I'm glad I was able to show you that. When it comes to understanding the catastrophe which befell the first, one glimpse of the empty wasteland beyond the wall is worth more than an hour of Urianje's lecturing. And I needed you to know that beyond the doubt that Tesleen has no other choice. The nectarine will be a kindness. It isn't just a threat posed to others. When a person becomes an eater, the pain appears to be excruciating. The carers are truly fond of their wards and would spare them that suffering. It is their way of fighting back against a fate worse than death.
Okay, Peripheral, that's only entirely true.
Care every time a white peach arches a fruit. You're back. I hope you had a nice time. Did you manage to find the nectarine? A plump, sweet-smelling nectarine. Thank you. Alisaie's explained why I wanted this, has she? I can see it in your eyes. We may not need it just yet. I spoke with the others and we decided to keep an eye on Halric for now. Thanks to you though, if his time does come suddenly, we'll be ready to send him on his way with the taste of happier days. Well, nothing is going to happen for a little while yet, so let's see if we can't lighten the mood. We don't want our gloomy faces worrying the patients. I think it's time for that welcome meal, don't you? Take a seat and I'll make us a nice stew.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs. My favorite. You needn't have gone to trouble.
Oh, it's nothing, really. And we do so rarely have guests. In a place like this, you learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel from arms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrandt could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
Do you think so? I always liked the idea that he treated every soul the same, even the Sin Eaters.
They're coming.
Tesleen! Have you seen Halric? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
Oh, this doesn't sound good. Green, Alisaie, we have to go look for Halric. I don't know what's gotten into him, but if he's wandering out there alone... We'll assign search areas and split up. Any idea where he might be headed? No, he's never done anything like this before. But it can't be a coincidence that the other patients are suddenly so agitated. They can sense something. In any case, let's keep the search close to the inn. Halric isn't very sure on his feet, so he won't have gone far. I'll search the east side. Please, Halric. Please be alright. I'll cover the north and west end. You take everything from here to the south. Sips water. I don't think that's gonna end well for us, Kier. If you're talking, I can't hear you, Kier. You see no sign of Halric.
Sorry.
Maybe he went further west.
Any sign of him? No luck then. But he surely can't have gone far. We should keep looking. The Sin Eaters are out in force, and if we don't find him soon, you can be sure they will. Did you see the size of that thing? It must be one of the nasty ones. Wherever it's going, it can only mean trouble. After it...
Is this going to be what they foreshadowed?
In the opening movie? Probably.
No, I meant when they said, when Alisaie said when there's a big one.
Well,
It comes with an army of small ones.
I also think that might have been the one that would have shown in the opening movie for Shadowbringers.
There it is!
Looks similar. Might not be the exact one.
Oh no!
Are they just chatting?
Halric! We have to run!
Oh.
Tesleen! No!
Okay.
We all deserve happiness, wherever we can find it. The time left to you is precious. No one should die in pain. Mother, I...
This is a very good time to not be looking at the stream then.
Oh.
That's a lot of light. Sorry.
No, 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 no!
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Well, that is definitely not a thing I was expecting to happen.
Just I'm trying to ham up the creepy imagery as much as possible.
Yep. Welcome to Shadowbringers. Oh. I'm sorry, Green. I tried to tell the carers what happened, but... What do you mean this is normal? I can't be the shoulder they lean on. Not like this. It's just so unfair. Tesleen was always so cheery with the patients, telling them not to be scared, that there wouldn't be any pain. All the people in the world to suffer such a fate. I imagine you're just as shocked as the rest of us, so I appreciate what you're doing here. Me, I can barely... I don't have the words. Without a body, we can't even give her a proper burial. She cared about that sort of thing, about giving people a chance to say their goodbyes. Ulrich is as unresponsive as ever. He stands motionless, staring up into the sky where the Sin Eaters made their escape. Terrible time to level up. I've spoken with the carers. Thank you. What you're doing, it means a lot to them. To me. Sorry to interrupt. We realized we hadn't thanked you for rescuing Ulrich. Clacking. You weren't hurt at all, were you? Hurt? It wasn't even a fight. It was too late. Too slow. And I thought I could protect you. You can't blame yourself for things beyond your control. You brought Ulrich back safe and sound. No one could have done any more. I'm sorry, but I come to a decision. I won't be continuing in my role here. I hope you'll forgive me for leaving you. and that you will delay Halric's last meal for as long as you possibly can. Not until it's too late, of course, just give him what time you can.
We always do.
Of course, she would have done the same. Farewell, Halric. Keep Tesleen's words close to your heart. Wait, you're leaving this very moment. I understand how you must feel, but surely this is a bit hasty. Do you even have anywhere to go? I have a destination in mind, yes. And a purpose. This damned light, building without cease, is the reason we can't save those corrupted by the Eaters. What if we corrected the balance? Even if it were only little by little, even if it took years, it would surely make things better.
Now hold on there, everyone knows there's too much light, but how could you ever hope to get rid of it? You'd have to change the whole world.
That's right. We should return to the Crystarium. I may not be able to repel the Eaters on my own, but I can still use the skills I gained here to hurt them. Forgive me, Green. I couldn't stay there a moment longer. But I was serious about what I said. While the men and the women at the inn battle against this blight with kindness, I must fight it in my own way, with steel and violence. From Eolzia's sword in the darkness to Norvrandt's sword in the light. Gods above, it feels like an age ago now.
So Alisaie, is there anything I can get you?
Your swiftest tomorrow. I need to return to the Crystarium immediately.
As you wish.
The airship is supposed to be Blackjack. See? Well, I guess it's I guess it's a 14's Blackjack, which I guess that might look different. I'm not sure. Remind me to wear goggles if we fly over Amarang again. I've barely gotten the sand out of my eyes. But the wind did help to clear my head at least. I think I'm ready to meet with the XIV. We need to talk about how we're going to wipe the Sin Eaters out, shall we? Closer to Falcons than the Blackjack? Okay. Has not 100%ed it 6-8 times before. Thank you for seeking me out, Green. It meant a lot to have you there at my side. And looking at Alfinode, I'd say he's eager to begin this discussion as I am. I say we lay our experiences before the XIV and step back to see what kind of picture they make. Then we can decide where to go from here.
And so you return. Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Better is not the word I would use. Some lands may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Light Wardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist.
So, kill the Light Wardens? Kill Light Wardens and Sin Eaters will be just cannon fodder?
Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Light Warden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
I have a feeling Yulmor might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens.
Well, we just reunited Alisaie and Alphinaud back in Crystarium. Yay.
Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Are you sure that eliminating the Wardens will be enough?
Your uncertainty is understandable, given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then. In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds.
You alright?
Oh, just cough.
This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially. Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as umbral calamities. 7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed. At present, the light-drowned realm of the First stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin Eaters who are to blame for the Light's continued dominance. In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Light Wardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Norvrandt, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the First and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Light Warden to the sword.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
Though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Hallminster Switch is requesting reinforcements. They say the Sin Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crystarium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alisaie as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.